Hello everyone, it's me Sanjay Vasu back again for another video. This time I'm doing it on Cambridge Lower Secondary Checkpoint for Mathematics Paper 2, April 2023, and we may use a calculator since it's Paper 2. Let's start. Question 1. A square has side length of x centimeters. Find an expression for the area of the square, give your answer in simplest form. The area of a side is equal to side squared. Here side is x, so side squared will be x squared centimeters squared. That's our answer. Question 2. A circle has radius 8.7 centimeters. Find the area of the circle. Area will be pi r squared for a circle, so that will be pi into the radius 8.7 squared, which is, let's get our calculator out, 8.7 times 8.7, that's y squared, and then times pi. That will be 237.79 centimeters squared to two decimal places. You can put it to any other degree of accuracy as well. I just put it to decimal places. That's our answer. Let's go to question 3. Naomi and Samira share some apples. Naomi receives less than half of the apples. Draw a ring around the possible value of the ratio of Naomi's share to Samira's share. So Naomi receives less than half. That means the ratio has to be less than 1:1. And this has to be the number which is less. So out of all of these, which one has a left side number less than the right side? This one, right? So that will be our answer. So Naomi gets only one part while Samira gets 5 parts. That's why Samira gets more than half and Naomi gets less than half. Let's go to question 4. Use the numbers in the box to complete these sentences. Dash and dash are rational numbers. That will be simply 8 squared and 19 by 6. And then dash and dash are irrational with 19 and pi, obviously. That's the answer. Let's go to question 5. The diagram shows a square drawn on a coordinate grid. Draw the image of the square after an enlargement scale factor 3 with center 2, 3 marked as an x over there. So scale factor 3 enlargement means this square, which right now has 3 as its side length, will become 3 times 3, which is 9 as its side length after enlarged. Now we can use this point. It is going one diagonal from one of the corners of the square. Now, if we extend it times 3, so the length is 3 diagonal, right? 3 diagonal units, and in the same direction, we get it over here, which is minus 1, 0. Now, we know that the side length is 9, so we just draw 9 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then another 9 units, and then another 9 units up here. And then finally, one more 9 units to finish the square. I'll just change the side a bit. Yeah, if you draw it exactly on the point over there. So these 4 points and this forms this square. That's the answer. Let's go to question 6. The bar chart shows the number of small, medium, and large potatoes in a sack. So the frequency is given. So size of potato is given and the frequency is also given in the bars. Complete the pie chart to show the information. So totally there are 6 plus 10 plus 8, which is 24 potatoes in total. So 6 out of 24, let's just write that, 6 by 24, which is 1 by 4. And 1 by 4 of 360 to find the angle in the pie chart is 90 degrees. And yes, that's drawn correctly since it's already given here, 90 degrees. Now for 10. So 10 by 24 is equal to 5 by 12. And then 5 by 12 multiplied by 360 is equal to 150 degrees. And 8 by 24 is equal to 1 by 3. And 1 by 3 times 360 is equal to 120 degrees. I'll just change these to a different color so it's a bit clearer. There we go. Now let's just draw the angles. I have a protractor here, so what I'm going to do is just show you how to draw it. So let's take medium size, 150 degrees. Let's take 150 degrees from this side or this side. It's your choice. I will take from this side. And then measure clockwise if we're doing from this side, and then anti-clockwise if we're doing from this one, to go like that. And then mark the point, draw the line from the center to the circumference. And this will be medium. And of course, this is 150 degrees. And you can measure this angle, the remaining angle, that will be 120 degrees. It has to be 120 degrees, otherwise it's wrong. So that will be the large. And that's our answer. Let's go to question 7. The diagram shows two parallel lines and two transversals. Drawing on all the angles that must be equal to 70 degrees. So we have two transversals here with two parallel lines given there. Now, the angle that must be equal to 70 degrees. So 70 is here, so this also has to be 70 because of vertically opposite angles. So A is the first one, and then there's actually one more, which is actually D, because this is in the shape of an F right over here. So these are corresponding angles. The corresponding angles are shaped like an F or an inverted F. So that's how it is. We got both these angles equal, so 70 degrees, and that's why D is equal to 70. None of the other three angles are equal to 70. In fact, B is 110, and we can't find the sizes of these two angles because we don't know any of these angles over here. And that's why that's our answer. Let's go to question 8. Here are three scatter diagrams. Draw a line to match each scatter diagram to the best description of its correlation. Diagram A. It kind of looks like it's going downward slope, but then it's not as easy to determine. That's why it's a weak negative, since it's downward and it's weak. Next is B. We can clearly see that it's going an upward slope, so it's strong positive. And for C, they just scattered around and there's no correlation, or in other words, there's no relation between the points. That's the answer. Let's go to question 9. Ahmed has two bags, each containing 4 balls. The balls in bag A are numbered 1, 3, 5, 6. In bag B, they're numbered 2, 3, 4, 6. Ahmed picks a ball at random from each bag. He adds together the numbers on the two balls to get a total score. Show that P of total score is even equals P of total score is more than 8. You may use the table to help you. Just as a reminder, P means probability if you do not know so well. Now, let's just fill in this table. That'll help us a lot. So, the addition is 3 is given, then 4, 5, and then 7. And then we have 5, 6, 7, 9. And then we have 7, 8 already given. And then there's 9 and 11. And then we have 8, 9, 10, and then 12. And we have now filled it in by adding numbers over here with the numbers over here. So the probability that total score is even. So let's just count how much are even. I'll mark them in red. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 which are even, and there's total of 16 because in this there's 16 results, which is 3 by 8. Next, I'll mark the probability that the total score is greater than 8 or more than 8. I'll mark these in black, the numbers which are more than 8. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And that's 6 by 16, which is equal to 3 by 8 once again. Now, since 3 by 8 is equal to 3 by 8, we can write therefore probability that total score is even is equal to probability that total score is greater than 8. And that's our answer. And if you want, you can just write proven because in the question it asks to show. And that's our answer. Let's go to question 10. A. Here are definitions of some angles. Draw a ring around the two angles that add up to 180. So interior angle of an equilateral triangle. We know that's 60 degrees. Interior angle of a regular pentagon. So regular pentagon has a sum of interior angles n minus 2 into 180. And n is 5 since 5 sides. So 5 minus 2 into 180. 3 into 180 which is 540 degrees. And now we divide by 5 to get one interior angle which is 108 degrees. Now we have 60, 108. Exterior angle of a regular pentagon. That will simply be 180 minus 108, which is 72 degrees. The exterior angle of a regular hexagon. That's simply 360 divided by a number of sides, which is 6, which is equal to, once again, 60 degrees. Now we have these 4. We can realize that 108 and 72 both add up to 180 degrees. So the answer is B and C. B. Find the sum of interior angles of a 7-sided polygon. That will be n minus 2 into 180, which is 180 into 7 minus 2, which is equal to 900 degrees because 180 into 5. And therefore, that will be our answer. Let's go to question 11. A number x is rounded to the nearest hundred, that's 1500. Complete the inequality to show the possible values of x. A cool trick to do this is just divide the rounding number by 2. So let's just say there's a rounding number 100 here, so divide by 2 we get 50. And then 1500 minus that number we found, 50, will be the number over here. And when we add 50, we will get the number here. So 1500 minus 50 is 1450. 1500 plus 50 is 1550. It should not always be plus 50 minus 50. It has to be plus this number divided by 2. If it was nearest 10, that means we would subtract 5 and add 5 to get these numbers. But over here, it's nearest 100, so we did this. If you verify it, 1450 rounds to 1500, and 1550 does not round, but then any number less than that rounds. And also, of course, greater than or equal to this. Now you can go to part B. The time taken to run a race is 9.87 seconds, correct to 3 significant figures. Write down the upper limit for the time. So the third significant figure is here, which is 9.87. So the upper limit will be, let's take this third significant figure, which is 100th place. And then we write that numbers 0.01. Okay? 0.01. We divide by 2 once again to get 0.005. And now 0.005, we just add with this because we're asking for the upper limit. So if we add with 9.87, we get 9.875 seconds. That's the answer. Let's go to question 12. Question 12. A. Yuri wants to investigate how exercise changes his heart rate. He considers 2 methods for measuring his heart rate. Method A and B. Method A is finding his heart rate by placing 2 fingers on his wrist and counting the beats. And method B is find his heart rate using a digital heart rate monitor. Yuri decides to use method A. Give one reason why this may not be the better method. We can see that by placing 2 fingers on the wrist and counting the beats, you might easily lose count of the beats, right? But then the engine or the computer, which is counting it with the digital rate monitor, will not lose count of the beats. So it is easy for him or Yuri to lose count of the beats. Lose count of the beats. That's the answer. Now we can go to part B. Yuri also wants to compare his results with those for other people of his age. He decides to repeat his experiment on 40 members of a gym. Explain why his sampling method may not give reliable data about the heart rates of other people his age. So we can see that Yuri wants to compare his results with those for other people his age. But then he's repeating it on 40 members of a gym. Realize that they're members of a gym. So the members of the gym might work out regularly and therefore they might have a higher heart rate. So the members of the gym will probably have a higher heart rate than normal people, or the average person. You can say the same thing. That's the answer. Let's go to question 13. Hassan thinks of a number n. He multiplies by 4. His answer is greater than minus 8 and less than or equal to 20. A. Write the correct inequality signs to complete the inequality. So minus 8 is which is less than, because 4n is greater than minus 8. And then 4n is less than or equal to 20, so that also counts there. Part B. Solve the inequality to find the possible values of n. Give the answers in inequality in terms of n. So let's split into 2 parts. Minus 8 is less than 4n, and then 4n is less than or equal to 20. Now you can solve these. N is greater than minus 2, and then n is less than or equal to 5. So now we can combine it. Minus 2 less than n less than or equal to 5. That's the answer. Now you can go to question 14. In September, a coat cost $62.50. In October, the coat cost increases by 4% of the cost in September. In November, the cost of the coat increases by a further 14.6%. Find the cost of the coat after both increases. So first, let's do the 4% increase. So let's just write cost in October, or October cost will be $62.50 times 100 plus 4 by 100, right? Because increase of 4%. And that will be, let's get our calculator out. So that's 104 divided by 100 to get that, times 62.5 to get $65. Now, the cost in November will be 14.6% increase of this, so $65 times 100 plus 14.6 by 100, that will be 114.6 divided by 100, we get that, and then times 65 to get $74.49. That's the answer. Let's go question 15. Find the equation of the graph, give your answer in y equals mx plus c. So first, let's take any 2 points on the graph. These are 0, 6 and 1, 4. Now let's find the gradient. Gradient, or you can write it as m, that will be equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, which is equal to 4 minus 6 by 1 minus 0, which is minus 2. And now the y-intercept is equal to 6, as we can see the point 0, 6 exists on the graph. And that means the point where the graph line intersects the y-axis is 0, 6, as we can see here. And that's why y-intercept is the y value 6. So the equation of the line will be y equals minus 2x plus 6. You can write that as minus 2x plus 6, or you can write as 6 minus 2x, whichever order is fine. Let's go to question 16. The first term of a sequence is minus 0.7. The term-to-term rule is multiply by minus 1 and then add 0.5. A. Show the sum of the first 4 terms of the sequence is 1. The first term is minus 0.7. Next, the second term, we multiply by minus 1 and add 0.5. That's 1.2. And then the third term, we multiply by minus 1, add 0.5 to get minus 0.7 once again. And the fourth term, we get 1.2 again. And then if we add all of these, we get 1. And this is proven. As is given in the question, we have to prove that the sum of the first 4 terms is 1. B. Complete the following statements. The sum of the first 12 terms of the sequence is dash. So we can see that the sum of the first 4 terms is 1. So sum of the first 12 terms, which is sum of the first 4 into 3, that will be 1 into 3, which is equal to 3. And the sum of the first 400 terms, 400 equals 4 into 100, so this will be 1 into 100, which is equal to 100. That's the answer. Let's go to question 17. The map shows the position of a shop S and a library L on an island. The scale of the map is 1 centimeter to 50 meters. A restaurant R is built on the island on a bearing of 130 degrees from the shop and 220 meters from the library. Mark the position of the restaurant on the map. So I can't measure with the ruler or protractor here, but I'll just show you how to do this. So a bearing of 130 degrees from the shop, that means it's 130 degrees from the north line clockwise. So let's just say that's 130 degrees. Now we can mark the point and draw a straight line continuing till the end of the land, because the restaurant cannot be built on water in mathematics. By the way, just a small tip, if something's confusing you, like, okay, can the restaurant be built on water, like houseboat restaurant or something? In mathematics, don't consider these weird applications or weird case studies, but just consider the normal, whatever usually happens. Usually restaurants are built on land, right? So obviously we just mark it till land, we don't go out to the sea. And then next is 220 meters from the library. That means you draw a circle with a radius of 220 divided by 50. So 220 by 50 is equal to 22 by 5, cancelling out the zeros, and then we get 4.4 centimeters radius. of the circle. And now we just draw a circle. I'll just draw an approximate circle. Let me just move this a bit. It should look something like that. And then we can simply see where they intersect and then mark this as position R. Remember that this radius has to be 4.4 centimeters and this angle is 130 degrees. That's the answer. Let's go to question 18. The graph of 2y equals 11 minus 8x is shown on the grid. A. Draw the graph of 2x minus 5y equals 10 on the grid. Use the table of values to help you. So when x equals 0, that means 2x term will get completely cancelled. So minus 5y equals 10 and y equals minus 2. So we can write that. And then when y equals 0, this term gets cancelled. 2x equals 10, x equals 5. So now we got the points, we just have to plot them. So 0, comma minus 2 is here, and then 5, comma 0 is here. Now we can simply draw this. Connect the dots, and then maybe do a little extension as well. Like that, and on the other side, go down like that. Now, that will be our answer. And part B, use your graph to solve the simultaneous equations. 2y equals 11 minus 8x, and then 2x minus 5y equals 10. That will simply be the intersection point of these two graphs. So over here, the intersection will be at 1.7 in the x coordinate, and the y coordinate minus 1.3. So let's write x equals 1.7, y equals minus 1.3. That's the answer. Let's go to question 19. Question 19. The cross-section of a prism is a regular polygon, having exactly 6 planes of symmetry. Draw a ring around the shape of the cross-section. So it has 6 planes of symmetry. One cuts across the middle of the length. So that does not count in the 6 planes. And that would be 5 planes remaining, right? If you count that. So 5 planes remaining, and that means there will be 5 sides in the cross-section, which means pentagon. That's the answer. Question 20. A jug is the cylinder with diameter 14 centimeters and the height of the water is 31 centimeters. The capacity of a glass is 315 centimeters cubed. Find how many can be completely filled using the water in the jug. So 14 centimeters diameter means 7 centimeter radius, right? So volume of the cylinder equals pi r squared h, which is equal to pi into 7 squared times 31. And let's get our calculator out. So 31 times 7 squared, 49. We get 1519 times pi to get this value, 4772.079. And then the number of glasses which can be filled will be equal to 4772.079 by 315. We'll do that. That will be equal to 15.15 to 2 decimal places. And then the number of glasses that will be completely filled, that will be 15 glasses, which is truncated to the nearest whole number. Truncated, in other words, is just cutting off the remaining part. That's the answer. Question 21. Here are some of the inputs and outputs of a function. A is an integer. Find 2 possible values of the output when input is a plus 1. So first, let's find the input a over here. So if a gives 180, that means 180 equals 5 times a squared. So a squared is equal to 180 by 5, which is equal to 36. So a equals plus or minus 6. So if a is equal to positive 6, that means a plus 1. So first, if a is equal to positive 6, then a plus 1 equals 7. And the output equals 5 times 7 squared, which is equal to 5 times 49, which is 245. And then if a is negative 6, then a plus 1 equals negative 5. And the output will be 5 times negative 5 squared, which is 125. That's our answer, 245, 125. Let's go to question 22. ABC is a rectangle measuring 4 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. EF equals 6.5 centimeters, BF equals 16 centimeters. Calculate DE. First of all, let's calculate this length using Pythagoras theorem. C squared minus A squared equals B squared. Just rearrange it a bit so that we get B squared as the subject. Now we can write C and A. 6.5 squared minus 1.6 squared equals EB squared using this right angled triangle. This is right angled because of the rectangle ABCD. Now that means, because I calculate it out, 6.5 squared, 42.25 minus 1.6 squared, that will be 39.69 equals CB squared. So CB equals square root of this, which is 6.3. Now we know the EB, not CB. Well, I'll just rewrite that. Okay, EB is 6.3 centimeters. And now AE is equal to the length of the rectangle 10.5 minus 6.3, which is equal to 4.2 centimeters. This length. Now DE will be the C squared in Pythagoras theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now 4 squared plus 4.2 squared, because we use sides AD and AE, that will be equal to DE squared. And that means DE equals the square root of 16, which is 4 squared, plus 4.2 squared, which is this 33.64. So DE equals 5.8 centimeters. That's the answer. Now we can go to question 23. A and B are positive integers. A by B equals 0.37 to two significant figures. B is a cube number less than 200. Find the possible pair of values for A and B. So B is a cube number less than 200. That means B can be 1, which is 1 cubed, 8, which is 2 cubed, 27, 3 cubed, 64, 4 cubed, and 125, which is 5 cubed. So if A is an integer, that means B cannot be 1, because A by 1 is A, and A cannot be 0.37 as A is a positive integer. So therefore, B can't be 1. And B also can't be 8, as A by B would be A by 8. So we multiply this by 8. Let's do that. So let's do 0.37 times 8, which is equal to 2.96. If we round this up to 3, that means 3 by 8 is equal to 0.375. But there's a 5 here, so it rounds to 0.38. So that's why B cannot be 8. And now B can or can't be 27. So we multiply 0.37 times 27, we get 9.99. So well, we round this up to 10 and then divide. So 10 divided by the value 27, we get 0.370370, blah blah blah, goes on. And therefore this rounds to 0.37. So B can be 27, as 10 by 27 equals 0.370370, so on, which is 0.37 to two significant figures. And therefore 10 by 27 is the answer. So A equals 10 and B equals 27. And with that, we've come to the end of the paper. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends and family, and comment on how you think this video was. With that, it's me, Sanjay Vasu, signing out. Thank you. Bye.